Last year, on Erev Rosh Hashanah, I told you a story famously told by the Lebovitz Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson about a prince who wanted to travel the world and then ultimately wanted to return home to his father, the king. Many approached me after the holidays and told me how meaningful they found the story. This summer, I spent several weeks in Israel with my family, and it was there that I felt inspired to write this story and to tell it to you tonight. Just as last year, I will tell it tonight and then retell it and discuss it tomorrow and Friday. We will continue to mull it over throughout Rosh Hashanah and hopefully throughout the year. I am walking through Jerusalem when I feel something strange. It's as if I have lived with this strange quality before but never recognized it. It's like when I discover something on my body and then wonder how long it's been there. How long have I felt this uneasiness? I started to become anxious. I look around and the streets are empty and calm. My eyes open and I look down and realize that I am dressed in my most regal Israel Shabbat clothing. Sandals, my white shirt, and khaki pants. The Shabbat queen must be on her way. I seem to be walking through familiar settings, restaurants I enjoy, a coffee shop where my wife and I sat together, a park where my kids have played with my parents, but I stop at none of them to appreciate the moment. Why am I in such a hurry? Is it because Shabbat? Where am I going? I don't know where I am walking, and yet I seem to be rushing to get there before Shabbat comes. I speed along our familiar neighborhood of Emek Rephaim until I reach King George Street and the corner of Bell Park. It's then that I remember that I am indeed walking to my Shabbat plans, but where is that? When I get to King George Street, I start climbing the hill towards the center of the city of Jerusalem. The hill, the incline, forces me to slow down and gaze at the ancient stone of the city and majestic views about which my ancestors dreamed and my children take for granted. A gust of wind blows through my hair, and it feels like Jerusalem is exhaling after a long week before our day of rest together. I see a stranger heading toward me, descending down the hill, towards the neighborhood from which I'd come. "Excuse me," I say. For a moment, the stranger looks at me. The face is so familiar. I know I've seen that face before. I ask, "Do you know where I'm supposed to be going?" "You're headed in the right direction," the stranger says confidently. And with that, the stranger disappears, down, 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 and I continue my climb up the hill, up again, down the hill, down again, until I stand staring at the wall of the old city of Jerusalem. Shabbat is being ushered in, and the walls of the old city beckon me. And I feel deep down in my kishkis that this is where I need to be. I hear a voice crying out to me. Who is calling? I rush in through the Jaffa gate and turn, and I realize that my feet are rushing through Jewish history on the same stones as King David and King Solomon and Ezra and Judah Maccabee and the earliest rabbis and the most famous Israeli paratroopers. And the voice continues to cry out my name. And then I arrive at the Western Wall, the foundation wall of the holiest site in Jewish history, the Holy Temple, that stood on top of that same Temple Mount. I stand at the bedrock of Yiddishkeit. I look up at the top of the wall for the source of the voice, for the source of all. It's me, says the voice. I recognize the voice, and I look down to the base of the wall. In the growing darkness, I have trouble making out the face. But as I get close, it's undeniable. It's me. I'm looking at the best version of myself. And I've been waiting for me this entire time. Why has it taken you this long to arrive? I hear myself ask me. Before I can answer, I look around and I see all of you walking up, answering the call from the better versions of each of us. Like bees to honey, each of us comes looking to find ourselves, because the Torah mandates this search, because our souls want to arrive, because the still, delicate voice beckons us all. Shana Tova.